this before or after?
You go for it.
Yeah, no, but honestly, I did not realize how much it really influenced the way that I've been responding to everything and every day.
Mm.
2 weeks ago, I was in Denver. I was feeling all these emotions, and I was like, "Wait a second, I'm feeling this." So I allowed myself to feel that. Then I start really analyzing, letting myself feel whatever it needs to feel, and then I was like, "Okay, awesome. I'm glad that I'm feeling this. What am I gonna do with this information?" And then I decided to take action, and that's what I did. And I did not realize I was doing that, like bird, fish, bird, cheetah, until when I was reading this. And I was like, oh, I've been doing that all this long and all this time along. And also I was doing the now, wander, sacred space, engage, all that. I was getting curious and I was like, okay, I don't know what you did, Dana. It was just perfect.
That's so amazing. Thank you. We'll maybe dive into a few of those things as part of this conversation, but I'm so happy to have you. Thank you for being willing to jump on.
Lovely.
And I was wondering if we could just start by tell me a little bit about who you are, what you're up to, what you do.
Absolutely. Well, I am Daniel. I've known you, Dana, for a while. What I do for work is financial analysis. That's the main thing I do. I have worked with the community, helping them figure out their business and everything when it comes to finance. And now I'm moving on to corporations. That's what I do. And you have something else.
Um,
Just a little bit about me.
yeah, a little bit about you.
Okay. I love being outside. I love working out. I am trying to do a few triathlons. And well, through the process in this group, you guys accompanied me to train and everything, and you was cheering me on, so that was really helpful too.
That's true. That's true. I remember you coming and telling us about your milestones you're hitting with your training and all of that. I love it. I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about where you were before you decided to join the group. Like what was going on in your life? What were you feeling into? Where were you feeling a little stuck or maybe something was off? Like where were you before joining?
Love that question. Okay, we started the group back in January. He was he was right about the time that everything started going upside down. I didn't know what to do. There was so much uncertainty, moves when it comes to where I wanted to leave. Job wise, I was going in transition. I was in this company, but I was not feeling that was my true goal. And I was trying to decide. And I remember at the beginning of the group, you were like, hey, hold on a second. There's more in this company before you jump the boat. And that was the beginning, a lot of uncertainty. And through the process of the group, well, change jobs. Now I'm open to a relationship. The way that I approach the challenges is very different than when I started. I am very compassionate by myself. I have healthy expectations of myself compared to before. And even even though there's a lot of uncertainty still, I feel very calm and motivated and very optimalist about everything.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing. I know watching your transformation, and I'll just kind of share a little bit more if you don't mind about
By all means,
so when you were coming into the program, it was like, yeah, you were unsatisfied in your job and you wanted to jump out. And I remember us having this, during your onboarding call, we had that conversation where I was like, well, have you asked for this? And have you asked for that? And you're like, no. And I was like, well, hold on a second. Like, let's not have you jump out before you've really learned the skills that you're going to need, whether it's in this job or another job, right? Because you'll just go into the next job and still not know how to ask for a raise or ask for your worth or ask for the things that you want. And so that was such an amazing part of your journey was you actually staying in the thing, and then throughout the program, learning the skills and tools to be able to make those requests. And then, if you're open to sharing, even maybe we'll get into it in a little bit, but that whole journey that you went on. And I think the other thing that really stands out to me about what you just said is like, the point of this program or any program, it's not to not ever have challenges again, right? To not ever have uncertainties or insecurities or anything. But what I just heard you really saying was like, and what I noticed in you and shifted so much, especially when you were writing in the Slack and you were telling us what you were doing with the practices and everything, is like your orientation to your challenges, to the unknown, to the uncertainty. That's what really shifted. And that's what you just mentioned of now you're like so optimistic about unknown and the uncertainty because you have the skills and the tools, as you just said before we even, really got into this. We're so excited. I love it to start sharing like how much you've shifted when something comes up, and it's like you have all these tools that you know how to take yourself through to then be able to make a decision,
Absolutely.
take a direction. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just to add to what you said and more context is that is more shift for actually asking for what I want. That was a game changer. I did it for the job, but I've been doing that for every single relationship in my life. I've been doing that for so many other things that I did not know how much I can just ask for what I want and don't feel guilty about it. Which, yeah,
Yeah. It's a
that's a big shift.
huge shift. Huge shift. Oh my gosh. Wow. Um, Amazing. Okay, well, we can get more into that kind of stuff, but I have to just call this out because, you know, you were such a unique participant, I would say, the in the joining of the program, right? Like I announced that I was doing a group and you booked in a call and you got on the call. Do you remember what you said to me?
I'm in. And I remember you saying like, but you don't even know what is it about. And I was like, no, it's you. I'm in. And I love that.
That that was so incredible. I think I've shared this with you before, but that shifted literally how I oriented to like what was possible in running this group, that someone could just come on and be like, I'm in. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about maybe for somebody that, we've known each other through this work, outside of this work, but maybe you could share a little bit about like why you had that feeling, like why you were just like, I'm in. I don't even need to know the details. I don't need to know what we're going to be doing, the curriculum, like nothing. I'm just in.
Oh, I can expand on this way too much, but the thing that comes to mind is you you embody what you say
Mm,
you do. And you embody leadership, you embody like everything that I'm aiming for in so many ways, you embody that. And that's something I really admire of you. So I'm like,
mm,
I want to be close to her so that I can learn how to do that and actually
mm,
just feel embodied every single time. Like every single thing that I love about you, that I see in me, I wanna be able to embody the way that you embody it yourself. I don't know if that makes sense, but in my head it does.
Oh, I mean, it's like the highest compliment, honestly,
Oh,
to me. And I appreciate that so much. Like, truly, that's the highest compliment because, if we're out here teaching the things I would hope, but I think so many people aren't embodied in their work. And so many people are like coming from a script or coming from, something that they were told. And I think it
yeah.
is a different experience to, you know, be learning and growing with somebody who, as you said, is like an embodiment of the work. So I take that as like the highest compliment.
Hopefully it is. And also you also allow yourself to be and to just call it out. Like, I just messed up. You know what? I'm going through I don't know, the fear. I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And you just come authentically and then you just come through as well. Like, you just
Mm.
go for it. And you're like, yeah, this is who I am. I messed up over there. But you know what? I get another take. I just there was one time when I went to one of your workshops that one guy walked in late and you said a joke and he was not bad at all. But then you were like, you know what? I do not like that about or how I approached that. And then you were like, but I get a retake. And for me it was just a mindset shift right then and there. So it was just so good. And I was like, yes, love that.
Thank you. I love that. Like, I don't expect my clients to be perfect because I'm not perfect, right? And I appreciate you saying that because yeah, like there are going to be times that I mess up. There are going to be times, but I think my philosophy has always been that those are incredible, like maybe the best teaching moments,
Yeah.
right? Those become like just it's like yeah, I am just a human, alongside of you. And yeah, maybe I've been a few steps ahead and, I've now been training and all this stuff for over a decade. And so sure, I've got a load of skills and a lot to
Yep.
teach and a lot to share, but I'm just human and I appreciate that that reached you, right? That didn't turn you off. Maybe for some people, if they want a perfect person to run the thing, like great, I'm not your person. But yeah, it to me it's part of the journey and like it's how we learn and grow together.
Absolutely. And honestly, the the reason why it really impacted me and enriched me is because for the longest I've been trying to be perfect. And for you to do that, it also allowed me to, it gave me permission to just know, you know what? I don't have to be perfect. I can mess up. I can do it again. And I can try and try. For some reason, it was just like, I knew it up here, but it's me seeing you do it really made it sink. You know,
Mm.
it's like, yes, she's in front of everyone and she did that. And that's amazing. And I love how graciously and in a very loving way she did it. And I can do the same thing. And I thought it was amazing.
Mm. I, honestly, as a recovering perfectionist, that's again like the highest compliment,
Uh,
and yeah, it's part of the work we get to do, right? Is like
yeah.
unwind those patterns and realize there's always a redo available. There's
Uh,
always a redo available. And it's like, are we courageous enough to admit that we messed up or made a mistake or just didn't like how something went? And then that takes courage to even do that step. And then it's another layer of courage to actually go and do your part, right? You still don't know how it'll impact the other person or whatnot, but it's like having that clean conscience. Like, I know I cleaned up my side of the street. Like, I went for it again, right? I did it. It's like,
all that. Absolutely.
oh my gosh, so amazing. Okay, let's see what else. So you've touched on a few of the different tools and practices and frameworks that we went through.
Mhm.
Is there any like specific, I mean, you mentioned them a little bit before, the compass or Fishbird Cheetah or um, the compassion component. Is
Yeah.
there anyone that you like, yeah, I really feel, obviously you've sort of mentioned already, but feel like has really stuck with you and that you find yourself continuing to use
Oh,
beyond the program?
absolutely. Well, first one, I do use the shift state. That's what we call it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
That I for some reason, and my family knows by now. Like if I just start dancing or moving or doing something, they know just to let me be. I in in my list, I did put scream, like just like to let it out. And I have not been doing that because I have neighbors and I have my family. Like they think it's sometimes weird enough for me to start dancing and moving and just singing. So I just don't scream. But I
You can
have
do
done
silent screams too, right?
no, they don't feel the same. They don't feel the same. But what I have done sometimes, so actually, yeah, when I'm driving, I just have a screaming session and it feels so good, so releasing. I do that. Also, I meet myself with a lot of compassion, and I've been doing that very consistently almost every day since March that I decided to quit my job and up, yeah, up level my skills. I've been learning so many different programs. I've been doing so many different things. I've been reaching out to people, and I've been meeting myself with a lot of compassion because it is a lot, and it's some of the stuff that I'm learning to me is very complex and very difficult. And I'm just like, hey, it's okay. It's okay to not know what you don't know. It's okay to keep going. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to try again. And I don't get into the victim mindset where I was like, oh, I should have done this earlier. I should have
Mm.
done this differently. None of those things. I just really meet myself with a lot of compassion, which for me, I think that is the biggest takeaway that I have that I took from the group. Just meeting myself with a lot of compassion. And sometimes I still hear Dana right over here. Yeah, very often.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. I remember how big of a shift that was for you when we did that module and you just like something really clicked for you. Something really clicked for you and being and noticing that it actually was a faster pathway to what you wanted.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it was something I feel like you hadn't really ever given to yourself yet. Like we're all used to the kind of like, you should do more, you should do better, you should be faster, further along, da da da.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah,
when
and
when
honestly, that was just one example where I use compassion. But honestly, like when I'm training, when I'm when I'm running, when I'm doing long runs or anything, or when I'm running with a group, I used to feel like, I should be better. I should do, I should be the fastest. I should be the one that can run the longest, that kind of stuff. And now I'm just like, no, just meet your body, meet yourself with a lot of compassion. I mean, right now, your body's telling you not to go that hard. Don't go that hard. And not try, like not shaming myself because I didn't go as hard as other people, which,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's sort of to that point, like, can you talk about a little bit about the somatic component, like the mind, like a lot of this program, we did a lot of somatic based, embodiment based things. And
Okay.
I don't know if you've done programs in the past that like have or haven't had that element to it, but if you could just speak to sort of how that piece of it impacted you, because I feel it's
Yeah,
something different in this program.
absolutely, absolutely. What what this program did, and something that I've been realizing is that I find a lot of my healing and mood changing through movement. So in one of the tools that we created, it was it was just to move, just to dance or sing or go for a run or go for a hike, like just literally just move my body, which every single time when I'm in that state or I don't want to, especially when I don't want to move, that's where I go to. And somehow I always find the energy when I'm moving. I find the courage to just keep moving forward. And it's just, I don't know, it's just drawing. It just my mood just shifts right away when I'm start moving, which is something that most of the time in most of the programs that I have done, everything is just up here. And most of the time, that's me. I'm most of the time I'm up here. I'm overthinking and everything, and that was not really helping me. And now that I'm able to connect my movement to over here and then just kind of balance it and then take an action. And by moving my body, eventually my brain is going to catch up. But it's just moving, moving. And that has been big difference. Like that has been one of the biggest takeaways from this group. Just being able to move sometimes without my brain even catching on to what's going to happen or what's happening. It's just like moving and then I'll figure it out.
I love that. I love that so much. And I think it also is so indicative of like, you learn the compassion piece and there's a time to be like, hey, I see you do less, or you're doing good enough as you are. And then you also have the skill now to be like, do more, move, right?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Do it before it even makes sense in your mind. And so I
Yeah.
know we worked on those in different modules, like there's a time for this and there's a time for this. And really the skill that I see you've gained so much is also like when to do which one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like that's like,
Yeah.
learning all the skills is one thing, and then being able to apply them, which you did, you've done so incredibly, is so amazing.
That what you just mentioned, I remember doing that throughout the group and you calling it out. It's just like sometimes I don't have the capacity, the emotional bandwidth to do this right now, but I can choose not to do it right now and then just set it up for some other time, which before that was not the case. He was just like, no, I have to do everything. I have to follow through and everything. No. Now it's just like, okay, there's a time and a moment for everything. So right now I'm just choosing to be sad and safe. And or I'm just choosing to take action and then I can be sad. And that was also really, really good for me. Just giving
Oh,
myself permission to do that.
so amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, I remember like so we created those state shift menus where everybody had to pick like 3 to 5 things that in 2 minutes or less would shift their state. And um yeah, I know people had like a mix of some of them were more on the compassionate side, like I need to like acknowledge myself for everything that I have done, and more on that side. And then other ones were like move. And I'll never forget when you led the group through everybody had a chance to share something from their menu and lead the group in it. And you did yours on the movement, but with no music. Because I know I bring in music a lot in the
Mhm.
group and have people moving to music. But that was, for me, actually, that was one of the most powerful experiences because to have to generate your own movement, your own energy, right? To like shift that state without the assistance of music. I'll never forget that was so powerful for me when you led that.
Love that.
Yeah. So speaking more about sort of like being in the group container, like what was this like for you to like do all this kind of work in a group?
Good question. To me, it really helped me with my blind spots
Mm.
because I had your perspective, but I also have my group perspective, and not just people being there just to be there. They really care about each other, or we really care about each other. So when we were giving us, I don't want to say feedback, but I'm going to say feedback because I don't have a better word. A better word. We would do it in a very meaningful, compassionate, and caring way. So for me, just being able to connect, have these deep conversations, really not selling each other out, I think
Mm.
that was really impactful for me.
Yeah.
Just creating this beautiful relationship where we can tell each other whatever needs to be said and not being offended and knowing that they are doing it from a place of love. To me, that was very powerful, which
Mm.
I've been doing the work by myself, and it is not the same thing because when I'm in a group, I I don't know, it just really stretches me to see other part of me, other parts of me that I would normally don't be able to see, or it would take me longer to see.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I think so. I mean, I love that you shared all that. And it makes me feel very warm and fuzzy on the inside that yeah, you felt safe enough to like be vulnerable and open and share. And like other people felt open enough and safe enough to like give real feedback and receive real feedback and share openly and honestly. Like, I'm like, ah, yay. That was definitely an intention of mine to create a space where that was possible.
I was gonna say that, and to be fair, that's an environment that you created, and
Yeah.
also the way that you showed up every single time, the way that you would coach people when we were stuck or just in general. That's the environment that you created so that we can show up for that environment. So that's also that's not also that was a big that was a big
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that's such a high, oh my gosh, probably one of the things I care about the most is, just the container that we're in. And then like sort of back to your point of like within that container, when people feel safe and vulnerable to open up, all these things start getting revealed. And then it's like what we can do one on one, it's sort of like we do this and then we do this and then we do this and then we do this. But when we're in a group, it's sort of like ping pong, ping, 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 right? Like
yeah.
somebody said, and you're like, wait, I have that too, and I have that too. And so there's a lot of sort of mutual healing that happens and things that can get healed, not necessarily like in a train track, like one at a time, but it's sort of happening on like multi-layer and multi-level. And it's so cool that you were able to experience that.
Yeah, and in a strange way, it feels like you're not alone. Like you're not the only one going through this. Like there's more people going through this, and you don't. Well, I don't feel that I'm the only one going through this. It's like, oh, I guess I'm not crazy. There's more people going through this. I'm not the only perfectionist here in this world. Beautiful, And that was also very reassuring, I would say.
Yeah, I would say that's probably one of the biggest, most valuable things that people get being in a
Yeah.
group. Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. So, I mean, you've touched on this already a, quite a bit, but if there's anything else you want to share about, like, I mean, I'm so delighted to hear like a few months after the program that these practices and tools still seem like part of your daily life. Like that's so freaking incredible and amazing. And I'm curious if there's anything you want to share about like, and maybe we can talk for a moment about actually even just like what happened with your work in the group. And because I was going to say like that's a huge shift that you had that happened in the group and you're still on that journey. But to me it was one of the most beautiful evolutions that I witnessed. Maybe you could share a little bit about that.
100%. Right now my head is all going all over the place because there were so many things and I was like, do I want to talk about this or do I want to talk about that? But on let's talk about the whole situation with my job, which to me was super powerful. And the fact that you saw where I was selling myself short before I even did, and
Mm.
you coached me through the whole thing. I think that was super powerful. And and again, that was one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had because normally I would leave, and again, not just for the job, like this is the way that I was going through that process with my job is how I would act just in general in relationships. Like it was just like, you know what? You're not meeting my standards, you're not meeting my expectations. I'm out. You're the one missing. I'm out. And well, first of all, I was losing as well, and it was being unfair to me and other people.
Mm.
And by me just sticking through, which it was one of the skills that I was working with, which it was following through. By me following through, asking for what I needed, asking for what I again not needed, wanted, coming from abundance, asking for what I wanted, and then getting what I wanted. And after that, there were a few things that they decided to back up. And me, again, speaking up, was like, you know what? This is not what we agreed. And again, speaking up for myself and being like, no, it's either this, since we agreed on this, or I'm gonna go look other places, or I'm just not gonna hmm, me setting boundaries. Me setting boundaries. It's just like
Yeah.
we agreed on this, and this is a boundary of mine. If you're not gonna respect what we agreed on, there's no place for me here. And I think that was super, super powerful. And again, I have been applying that to different relationships. Even yesterday at the workshop, I did the same thing. I was like, no, I want more. I did it again. I was like, oh, and that came just natural. That's something I really incorporate into my life. And after that, after I decided not to work with them anymore, I have given myself so much permission to really explore where I want to go with all this. And I have grown so much. I have been talking to so many people, beautiful, amazing, and smart people that have been guiding me. I've been traveling to figure out what I want to do next. I've been doing so many other things, and everything just started when you said, no, don't just wait a little bit, do the work, follow through. And that's what I've been doing. I've been following it through. And 3 weeks ago, I started reaching out to a few companies. On Friday, I have an interview for me to be able to work as a consultant with this big company and that I'm super excited about and the financial aspect. And I've been creating also my own business when it comes to Hispanic communities because that's something I'm very passionate and I love doing. So that I can serve them and see how can I improve their business. So I've been doing a little bit of different things here and there. And I've been following through being super compassionate, and that would not have happened if I did not give myself permission to do it and to actually follow through. Um, yeah,
Oh, it's so incredible. It's so incredible because it's just, you know, and the thing that I find so beautiful about this is like the outcome was the same, right? You wound up leaving the company anyways, but when the place that you joined the group where you were going to leave from, that was a very different place than doing the work, asking for what you need, getting them to say yes to all these things. And then when they reneged, you were like, you had all the confidence, you had all the, you were like, no, you built your self-worth up so much that when they then reneged on the offer, you were like, okay, no problem. But it was like you had built these incredible skills in the in between that now I'm hearing you're taking with you everywhere you're going. And that
awesome.
I love that because I think for so many people, it's like, we're so outcome focused. And in this case, outcome the same, the journey entirely different.
No, I've been enjoying more the journey rather than the outcome. I love the outcome, but I have been enjoying this process. It has not been beautiful all the time, but
Ah,
it has been a lot of fun. And yeah, just what I needed.
my gosh, so amazing. So amazing. All right, last
Mhm.
question is if you were talking to someone who is like sitting where you are or where you were when you joined, like what would you maybe tell them?
Mm. Simple. Just trust the process.
Hmm.
Trust the process, trust Dana. That's it. Trust the process, trust Dana. Which part of the process is trusting Dana?
And trust yourself.
And trust myself. I love it.
Amazing.
Yeah, trust the process.
Amazing. Oh, well, thank you so much for jumping on today. You're incredible. Like having you in this group, having you in the group was an absolute highlight for me. Like watching your journey, seeing your journey, seeing you also just like your contribution to the group was so beautiful and so amazing. Every time you gave feedback to someone, every time because we do a lot of like breakout rooms and partnering, and so there's a lot of time where you're getting to like be with people and share your experience and what you see. And I just know how impactful you were for everybody in the group as well. And it makes such a difference. Like the people that I have in my groups, I really care about. Like I really care about who is in it and the sort of quality of the group. And so thanks for being such freaking high quality human and just making the group so, so, so special.
Thank you so much, Dana. I received that with a lot of love. Thank you so much for saying that.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you.